What's up, everyone? So, second live stream, I'm back. Now, as you guys can see by the title, I'm talking about why only broke men ask your body count. And if you ever encounter someone who will ask you for your body count, you can already make the assessment that one, he is broke and he is not worth your time. Now, I'm going to take about 3 minutes to say a couple things before I start. I have been around older men too much because in the first live stream that I did, giving everyone a general summary about how to get a provider man and all of that, I wasn't able to read the comments because I didn't know I could put Facebook on my iPad. So this is a hot revelation for me, and here I am. If you don't see this pinned at the top of my channel, that means that by the time you're watching this, if this isn't pinned at the top of my channel, if you want to go watch it, by the time it's taken down and I have this one pinned at the top of my channel, it'll be on my YouTube channel, which will be easier to find. Same as that name, Ron Vugata. Second thing I want to say is, hold on now, let me put this Cash app up in here because this is free game that I'm giving y'all, and I'm always down for an investment. Uh, so feel free to invest. Two, well, I think that was the two. Um, Third thing I want to say is it's the same thing I said in my first live stream. Actually, I want to reiterate the fact that this advice is not for everyone. It is not for everyone. Everyone cannot follow it. Everyone cannot abide by it. Um, because a lot of you are too hurt and broken, honestly, to get into a relationship with a provider. So because of that, and because you guys are so lacking in self-love, you guys feel the need to build with a man. And if you want to do that, cool. It's just not the channel for you. This isn't the content for you to watch because I'm not going to do nothing but piss you off. And that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to piss people off. I'm here to put people on who want to quit their hard ass job and, wake up when they want to. Your hair doesn't get this full and luscious from working hard, stressing out. And boom, normally I do these live streams at night, but it's raining. And I'm like, by the time I go to Sam's Club and run my other errands, my hair is gonna be poofed out, so might as well just knock it out now. I don't even know if Sam's gonna be open by the time I get done, but nonetheless. So I've said that I said L, and the alternative for people who have so much to say about me basically putting hypergamy into a long definition, me telling women to be submissive and only be provided for, make their man step up. It literally does not hurt anyone. My advice literally hurts no one. It actually helps everyone because women get to sit here and not work hard. They can work from home doing entrepreneurship things. They can stay at home raising your kids. And not having to pay $1,500 to $2,000 a month for daycare. They can be the submissive woman that you desire her to be. Men, if you have a problem with my advice to women as a man, then one, you don't want to work hard. You want to be a bum and you want to sit in a bathtub with a bath bomb and act cute like a girl, like you're gay, like me. That's not cute. You want the respect as an alpha man, which there is no such thing as an alpha man. You're either a provider man or you're a dusty man. That's the only two things. I said this in my first live stream. But a lot of you want the respect of alpha male, but you guys do not do anything to deserve that title. You don't work hard. You don't pay all the bills. You don't secure any kind of future for your household because a lot of you are just working 40 hours a week, 45 hours a week, coming home to sit in a bubble bath and play the PS5 and then nagging your woman's ear who also works 40 hours a week about how she hasn't cooked, she hasn't cleaned, she hasn't fed the baby. How many jobs are women supposed to have compared to a man? The only job a man has is to go work, bring that check back. But in a man's eyes, a straight man's eyes, a woman has the job of also working, bringing the check back, cooking, cleaning, and taking care of kids. That's ass backwards. And if you want your daughters to follow that kind of information, by all means, let them do it. I said all this to say my advice is not for everyone. Because for everyone who will take my advice, I'm going to advise you to look around you, whether it's your mom, your dad, your sister, best friend, whoever. Look around you and say, I know plenty of pick me relationships that are not hot and it is not working out. And why would I want to follow that same path? Ron Vugata has been talking about these women who split bills, these men who are half-assed, want alpha male titles, but they only sit here and work 40 hours a week, come home, sit in a bubble bath, and then play the PS5. That's not alpha male strategies. Your man probably doesn't even have good enough credit to get you a down payment and a car off the dealership lot. So, with that being said, yeah. Now, let's talk about it. Only men who are broke ask you for your body count. Let me also say this one more thing, and I'm finna get into it. If you guys have questions, you can ask me and I will answer them right then and there. Because I don't know what you guys specifically want to know, because I have a lot of information. And mind you, I live this lifestyle. You're not finna sleep with me until I've gotten at least $10,000 out of you. A lot of y'all are sleeping with men and literally get nothing, and all you want to say is, "Oh, but I love sex. I do it for free. I love sex." You sound dumb because you start having sex with these broke men for free, and then they turn around and lay up with the next chick the next night. Meanwhile, we have people like me, whether you want to call it gold digging, prostituting, I'll talk about that, but whether you want to call it gold digging, prostituting, at least I walk away with something. If a man sleeps with me and decides he want to go sleep with my best friend the next night, that's not my vibe, but I'm just saying, people are grimy in this world. If a man sleeps with me and decides he wants to sleep with my best friend the next night, guess what? I'm $10,000 richer. I have gold chains, nice clothes. Please. $450 shoes. Get the hell on. These are investments. I always will win. Well, rather not me. You'll always win if you start prioritizing men to be men and not babying them and acting like his mama, because that's exactly why he loves you. He loves you because you remind him of his mama. Any man that tells you that he loves an independent chick is because he watched his mama raise him and his siblings by herself. He watched his mama go clock in, work hard as hell. Where's my remote? He watched his mama clock in, work hard as hell, raise him and his brothers and sisters by herself, come home, cook and clean, kiss his ass every time he got a cut on his body. She's there to, oh, baby, you need some money? You need some new clothes? Oh, baby. Y'all are literally treating these men how they mama treated them, and wondering why they won't spend $1 on you, wondering why they can't take you on no date because they're used to this treatment from their mama. And what do they have to give their mama in return? Nothing but some love. Please understand that whenever you want to talk about people like me being prostitutes and being gold diggers, you look foolish because you lay down for free. You have sex for free. So how are you talking about people who require a man to have a certain amount of income before I deal with him, but you don't see no problem with you laying up with somebody head? How? And you're proud of that. And then you get on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever your preferred platform is, and want to talk about how men are not shit. No, men are shit. The men that you pick are not shit. That's the difference. And if you got nothing but broke men in your inbox approaching you and in your ether, it's because there is some pick-me-ness that is radiating about you into the world. So, like I said, if you guys have questions, you can ask me and I'll answer it right then and there. But I'm going to tell you guys this. Only broke men ask you for your body count. And I'm going to tell you why. Broke men use body count as a manipulation tactic to lower a woman's value. Let's start there. Because a man who really has money, a man that is of quality means, is not going to sit here and offend you with a question like that, like, oh, what is your body count? If a man asks you, think about any man who has ever asked you what your body count is. Was he broke? Did he have enough money to give you $100 for gas? Did he have enough money to send you to American Deli for a $50 plate? I don't know how much American Deli is. I don't eat American Deli, but I know the food is expensive. Did he have any money to literally ask you all these things on a proper date? And you women will sit here, and if you gay and you want to follow this advice, this can apply to you too, because I'm gay as well. But a man will sit here and literally give you a whole interview process and literally bring nothing to the table. These broke men will sit here and say, oh, what do you bring to the table? This is what you need to say when a man asks you what you bring to the table. Or this is what I say if a man asks me what I bring to the table. I'm going to bring another man to the table that's going to show you how to be a provider. That's what I'm going to bring. I bring nothing to the table. And if you're so pressed about me bringing something to the table, it's going to be another man who's going to show you how to spend that money. Think about it. Think about men who call men who are providers simps. Only broke men call provider men simps because they can't afford to simp. They can't afford to spend no kind of money to take you on no date, to literally take you to Lenox or wherever and buy you some nice designer shoes. They can't even take you to City Trends to buy you a pair of shades. But they'll sit here and have something to say about everybody else that's on their shit. If they see a relationship where obviously a man is providing for his partner, they want to call it simping. If they see, a fine person, whether you're a man or a woman, the first thing they want to ask you is, what is your body count? What do you mean, what is my body count? What is your bank account? If a man asks you what your body count is, you ask him what his bank account is. And that's plain and simple. Because obviously he doesn't take you serious enough to ask you something more relevant, something more worthy of figuring out if you are someone that he should marry or not. Broke men literally will run circles around y'all because this has been an art adopted by your mom, your grandma, your auntie, your great great grandma, all of these people. So when you're seeing and encountering these situations, you're thinking it's normal, and it's not normal. Like, think about it. If a man who asks you what your body count is not exactly the type of person that you would want to marry or view as a provider, why are you even wasting your time dealing with him? I would not never give no man no answer of what my body count is. What my body count is, what your bank account is. What are the digits to your bank account? If you want to know the digits to my body count, why is it relevant? It's only relevant to broke men because they use it to lower your value. And for men who sit here and think that they are the prize, because you'll have men who will say, oh, but again, what does a woman bring to the table? If you ask me, according to how many generations have went by, women have brought way more to the table than a man has ever have. Again, all a man has to do is go to work, bring the check back. What does a woman have to do? Go to work, bring the check back, and cook, clean, change diapers. All the man has to do is work, come back home, sit in the tub, and eat the food that you cook. Enjoy the dishes that you clean. Enjoy the bills that you help him split. Y'all give these men too much power, and that's why they're going to treat you crazy every time you deal with them, because until you women learn that feminine power, divine femininity is power, it is truly the key to a good marriage and a good relationship. Because I'll tell you this, no man will ever put his hands on me and then double back and tell me he love me, and then I'm going to sit here and fight another bitch over him. You look crazy, and y'all look like a bunch of pick-me's just in a pig ring just fighting in mud over some dust. Meanwhile, like, I swear to my life, I was literally on the phone with a provider man yesterday, giving him some advice. And at the end of the conversation, I summed it up to exactly what I be saying. Y'all are not getting no provider man because y'all are not trying to level up to make yourselves available to a provider man. You're not going to get a provider man running behind somebody that's 20, 25 years old. You're not going to get a provider man going outside with a bonnet on and some Crocs. You're not going to get a provider man you're not going to get a provider man until you realize that you are the prize. Provider men do not like people who are not confident. They do not like people who is going to give Boo Boo and Ray Ray the time of day. If all you have in your inbox are broke, dusty men, then obviously there's a disconnect between what you provide in a relationship and how people are perceiving it. Because, for example, if a man really wants to know what your body count is, I'll tell you this. You make sure you let them know that you only dealt with provider men, and that makes all the difference. I made a status a couple of weeks ago saying how it's not about what you it's not about your body count. What it is about is it's about your quality. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. Because if you sat here and dealt with 10, 5, 8, 15 broke dusty men, the next man that's going to get you is probably going to try to get you at the cheapest rate possible, like those broke dusty men. Or in that case, it's like when men say, well, if you let all these men fuck you for free, if you let all these men shoot the club up, give you STDs, didn't feed you no food, none of that, but now you're requiring me to do it. At that point, I can see. Do I agree? No, because that's just another tactic for men to lower your value. But ultimately, once a man knows that you only deal with provider men, or that your lineage is only provider men, then it'll give a man more of a reason to step up and be better. And to the men who will have an issue with what I'm saying, I want to ask you this. So you would tell your daughter, okay, to go out into this world, go work 40 hours a week, and then go meet her man at the rent office to give half of her check so they can split bills. You would advise your daughter to, and then you would tell your son to make his girlfriend, the quality of a good girlfriend is for her to split bills with you, taking her out of her femininity and not allowing her to be the woman that she was born to be. Women were not born to work hard. Women were not born to be in these hard ass careers that require them to deal with attitudes, deal with customers who can't understand that some people are just doing their job, and that you are not literally the creator, the CEO, the CFO of a job. You're just here to work. They have to deal with all of these people, then come back home, cook, clean, take care of babies. Please. But I'll tell you guys this. If anybody asks you about your body count, you definitely go ahead and accept the fact that that is not the man for you. Because, and if you give him an answer, it needs to be the digits to the amount it costs to upkeep you every month. How much is your rent? How much is your car note? How much is your wigs? How much is your nails? How much is your shopping? How much is all of these things? If you give him that number and he shies away, he never had it in the first place. Or just do what I would do and ask him what his bank account is, because please. And then let me tell you, love is not what you guys have been told it is. Love is not a man kissing on you and rubbing on you and 50-50 and building a team. That is not love, because as soon as a man gets to where he wants to go, he will leave you and be with who he really wants to be with. I'm pretty sure y'all can relate to this or know somebody who has experienced this time and time again. Y'all sit here and invest in these men and then end up looking cross-eyed when he go cheat on you. And as far as cheating goes, because I tell y'all, I don't care about no cheating. Um, the reason I don't care about cheating is because when you have a man investing his money into you, you will be less hurt about him cheating on you versus a man who you spent all your money on to help build him and then he goes and cheats on you. That hurts different because you invested your time and your money, which you never had to do. I would never do nothing like that because, or I'm not worried about cheating because once you get a man to invest at least like $10,000, once you get him investing in that range in the first year, he's going to be less likely to cheat on you. And honestly, you have to be so diligent in your position in a relationship that you really leave no money on the table for him. And if he does cheat on you with somebody, more than likely, they're just doing you out of it. They're giving your man free sex. That's less time for you to want to have to get ready to have sex and put yourself together to please a man. There's literally a pick me out here doing it for you. So I don't understand why y'all so starstruck about cheating. And also, you really only have to worry about cheating when it comes to dealing with younger guys. So, for example, I'm not dealing with no man that's younger than 45. That's plain and simple. If he's younger than 45, I'm not dealing with it. Because men already think 10 years behind. So when they're 35, they think that they're 25. When they're 20, they basically have the mind of a 10-year-old. That's why so many men make so many stupid decisions. So once you get a man that is older, like 45 plus, you don't have to worry about him cheating on you because at that point he too tired. He has to go to bed about 8, 9 o'clock. He has to go soak in some Epsom salt to relieve that arthritis in his knee. So you don't even have to worry about cheating when you date a certain age limit. And when it comes to, hold on, I was trying to make sure I ain't have no questions. But yo, love is not someone kissing on you and telling you, "Oh, I love you" and all of this, and you have to build with a man to show true love. Because for all the single mothers out here, think about this: when you know that your child, when you know that you got a child at home that you gotta feed, is hungry, it needs a hot shower, it needs to be able to have electricity to do homework, things like that. As a single mom, you're gonna go out your way to make sure all your child's needs are met, right? Because that's pure love. It's the same way with a man. If a man isn't out here grinding for you, spending his money to make sure that you have food, you're comfortable, you have reliable transportation to get to wherever you gotta go with your child, or as you do whatever that you do, if a man is dealing with you and you aren't a priority in his life, that means that he doesn't love you. And that's plain and simple. Love to in my world is translated as you spending that money. If you're not spending that money, I really could care less about what you have to say. Everything is action in my world. Nothing is verbal. Nothing is, oh, we're just going to talk about it and dream about it and then nothing happens. That's why a lot of you fall for the okey doke, and a lot of you fall for the lies that men will tell you, because you're going off of hopes and dreams, the thought, the hope that he'll change. I learned a quote that I believe pick me women say amongst each other. And the quote goes something along the lines of, if you can't change the man, if you can't change a man, then change the man. You guys got me twisted. If you think I'm finna sit here and waste my time to try to change a man to be a provider, when there are so many men out here just naturally providing, wasting your time. And if you're 25 and up, understand that you don't have time to sit here and just date for free. You don't have time to sit here and just waste your time through a 6 month to a year talking stage. You can really know if you like somebody in the first date, the first conversation, the first encounter. And speaking of first date, whatever happened to men asking you out on a date. Like, who has made the bar so low for a man to literally just slide in your inbox and say that you're sexy, he wants to have sexual intercourse with you, and let's link up and have sex, and that's the date? Who has made that the standard? Because that's not my standard. You're not going to get my attention until you tell me, hello, I want to take you out on a date. Until those words come out of your mouth as a man who's trying to date me, I'm not stunned nothing that you have to say. Anything. And on that date, if you don't have something valuable to bring me, because think about it, in all these other countries, China, Asia, Indonesia, things of that nature, Africa, you always have to bring something to the woman to prove to them that you are exactly who they are serious about dating, marrying, etc., etc. Having a household, bringing children into this world with. In all these different countries, you have to approach women with money. How is it that in America y'all have lowered the bar, the standard so low that all a man has to do is call you sexy and he can get in your pants like that, and then you let them mind fuck you to the point where they're like, oh, to the point where you're like, oh well, I should sleep with him because he's a nice man. He calls me sexy. He let me smoke his joints. He let me hit his liquor bottle. What? But you won't be with the man who is serious about his life, his career, what he wants to do in his life, and having children and things like that. Y'all make excuses for these brokies, but then turn around and say, "Oh, I hate men. Men ain't shit. The men that you pick are not shit." Please, um, and yeah, understand that anytime a woman tells you that he loves an independent woman, please understand that 9 times out of 10, I bet you he's a brokey. I bet you without you splitting bills with him, he cannot afford his lifestyle. He cannot afford to have that nice car that he drives, to pay a car note on. He cannot afford to live in that apartment or that house that y'all split a mortgage on. He cannot afford to eat at these fine places that y'all eat out to. Even if he does pay for the date, please understand that he's only able to pay for the date because you're helping him split the bills in all other aspects of the relationship. And in that sense, how does he earn the respect of alpha male when he's not even giving you the advantage of being a submissive female by sending you out in the world to work 40 plus hours a week, talking about overtime and all of that? Your feet hurt, your back hurt, your mouth hurt because you probably work customer service, and then you got to come back home, cook, clean, and change diapers. And then you want to come home to a man who splits bills with you, or rather, you women have gotten so deluded in your mind by hyperfeminism and all of this to believe that the only way you can have a true love is by building with a man, being Bob the Builder, Barbara the Builder, 50-50. You're not in a relationship with a man. You're in a relationship with a roommate. You have a sexual relationship with your roommate. Anytime you split bills with a man, rent, electricity, gas, water, internet, all of those things, all of those utilities, you're literally in a situationship with a roommate. But as soon as that man gets that raise at his job, he's going to leave you to go be with a woman that he can be a full provider for, because she will be able to be a fully submissive woman for him, because she did not have to endure all of that 50-50ness, all of that splitting bills and doing the most to get the least. He wants to start fresh with a woman who has never experienced that side of him. Please, that's why when you see these men level up into their money and then they end up with somebody that's fine and sexy and intelligent, y'all be sitting here looking crazy like, and got nothing out of it. Y'all got nothing out of it. Y'all have sex for free and get nothing out of it. And then you want to talk about, oh, but I don't want to come off like a prostitute, or I don't want to come off like a gold digger. Here's the difference between being leveled up and hot and then being a gold digger or a prostitute. Gold diggers and prostitutes, which they still get my respect because at least you have enough value on yourself to play the game, to not give your body away for free simply because a man done gassed you up just to get in your drawers. Boom. I would respect them more because exactly that. They value themselves enough to know that they are a prize and that if you want to sleep with me, you got to spend some money. The difference between people like me who are leveled up and hot and someone who is a gold digger or an escort is escorts and gold diggers are solely by themselves, only concerned about the money. Me and myself and I and anyone who listens to my advice is more than just the money. It's more than just a sexual exchange for money. It's about getting a ring on your finger. You're not finna sit here and buy no. You're not finna sit here and put no gold digger or no prostitute in your will. You're not gonna sit here and bring no gold digger or no prostitute to the Met Gala, to the governor's ball, to your mama's house on Thanksgiving. You're not gonna bring those types, and you barely would bring a pick me to those types. Please, if you would tell your daughter to go work hard to split bills with a man, and instead of looking for a man who has worked hard to build a career for himself and to fully provide so you can stay home and not pay $1,500 to $2,000 a month for daycare, letting some other random strange people traumatize your child, letting some random strange children traumatize your child because they doing stuff in their household that you don't even know, and they bringing it to their school around your child. If that's your idea of raising a daughter, then you don't need to be having children. If your idea of raising a son is telling him he doesn't have to work hard to provide for his household, he can just do subpar work 20 to 30 hours a week, split the rest of the bills with his girlfriend and sit on his ass while she cooks and cleans and changes diapers, then you don't need to be raising children. And in fact, people like you are the reason why this generational curse will continue to perpetuate in your bloodline. Because please, I'm only going to tell my daughter to only deal with provider men. Make your money and spend his. There's nothing hard about that. And it's like I said before, just because I only deal with provider men does not mean that I'm broke. It just means that I'm allowed the luxury to do things that equal to higher paying income. I don't have to work at Walmart and work at self-checkout for $14 an hour. I don't have to go clock in at Piggly Wiggly Winn-Dixie to scan groceries for $10 an hour. I don't have to go change somebody oil at Express Oil Change for $16 an hour. I can sit here and focus on writing books. I can sit here and develop life plans for real estate, entrepreneurship, online, drop shipping, reselling, things of that nature, things that really bring money. I can focus on those kinds of things. And here's the thing. You can't get mad at people like me because we have decided that we know our worth and that we're not going to deal with nobody who is dusty, who wants me to split some bills and hold him at night and tell him everything is going to be okay. No, because my life and my world doesn't work off of hopes and dreams. My life and my world works off of facts. And the fact is that for anybody who wants to call you broke because you only deal with provider men, you tell them that you don't have to work a 9 to 5 because there's plenty of women that are pick-me's filling those positions for us. So we don't have to work those 9 to 5s. There is not a lack of employment out here. There's a recession happening for certain people, but not for everyone. Like if you think that everyone in this world, or in America rather, is going through a recession, is struggling paycheck to paycheck, then you have not lived. You have not traveled. You have not been to hotels and restaurants to see the kind of money people are spending. The same way you're sitting here saying that there's a recession going on is the same way that there are people at Lenox Mall spending thousands of dollars at Gucci and Chanel. It's the same way there are people at these steak houses, these oyster houses, spending one, two, three, four, $500 on plates, appetizers, drinks. That doesn't sound like a recession to me. So, you can sit here and deal with these broke men, these dusty men, but understand that you're only going to keep getting the same exact result. I'll never chase a man and beg a man to love me. And that's what makes this whole experience more beautiful, because every man who I've dealt with that is a provider has approached me first. I never went up behind a man begging for his love and his affection. Meanwhile, y'all run up behind these broke men begging for him to love you, to spend $10 on you. You get on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter flexing because he sent you $50. What's $50 gonna do? I can't even buy a cart of things at Sam's Club with $50. I remember I was in Sam's Club, as a matter of fact. I don't remember when this was. This was recent, but I don't remember when this was. I was in Sam's Club, and my card declined. And it only declined because the card was locked. But the man I was with, he only saw that motherfucker was declined. So he thought I ain't had no money, which is fine. Because around my man, I never had no money. And so the bill was like $600, and that man turned around and sent me $2,000 to cover my groceries and then plus some, so I can, go get my Starbucks and go shopping and things like that. So nonetheless, you guys are telling me that I'm not gonna have love, or people who only deal with provider men are only going to be lonely, and we're never gonna have true love. Here's the facts. Here's the statistics, right? Because one of my provider men is actually in the funeral industry, so I've learned a couple things, right? A lot of men actually die alone, and they die single, because unlike women who have offspring, so when they're in their final days, they have children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews. A lot of men walk away from the family structure to go be roguish because they think 10 years behind. So that's why I say, if you get a man that's 30 years old, he's really just 20. 35 is really just 25 in a man's mind, because they do not have the same physical time clock that women have. So I learned that a lot of men actually die alone in their homes, in a nursing home, because they have walked away and never stood up to be a man worth submitting to. So they die alone. Nobody knows that they died. Only reason people found out they died is because the employer is trying to figure out why he missing so many days. The rent man trying to figure out why he ain't paying no rent. The whatever. But nonetheless, ain't nobody checking for no man at the end of the day. That's why I don't get why men are so much so surprised why they dying alone. Why don't they have kids and a wife wrapped around him? Because at the end of the day, let me tell you guys this. The best people who make sugar babies, or whatever you want to call people like us, gold diggers, prostitutes, whatever. The best people that make prostitutes, gold diggers, sugar babies, are the people who dealt with broke men and had enough of it. Once you had enough of dealing with these broke men and sitting here chasing behind a man for your love, and sitting here thinking that a man is the prize, once you've had enough of that, I promise you, you'll love the life of not clocking in. It literally started raining a couple of hours ago. I was in my car. I ran a couple errands. It started pouring down rain. I went back home. I took a nap. A lot of y'all had to go clock in somewhere. Meanwhile, I get to wake up, do my live stream, and I'm going to go. Well, I'm probably not going to go handle, because Sam's Club closed at 8, I think. And Montgomery is not the place to be. Alabama is not the place to be when it's raining. I would rather drive in Atlanta, prime time traffic. I say this all the time. I would rather drive in Atlanta traffic a million times before I drive in Montgomery, well, Alabama, period, in the rain. Because these folks, there is literally nothing hard that you got to do to get a license, a driver's license in Alabama. Like, all you got to do is turn a couple corners, and then boom, you got a driver's license. So I would rather go drive in Atlanta before I drive in Alabama in the rain. So, nonetheless, but yes, for you guys who are saying, people who are sugar babies, prostitutes, escorts, only deal with provider men, we're gonna die alone and we're gonna die without anybody loving us. I'll tell you this, I've experienced love way quicker and way more than you will ever experience in your lifetime. Because you mean to tell me a man putting me into $100,000 car isn't love? You mean to tell me a man sitting here paying all of my bills every single month isn't love? A man, look at the material. I mean, come on. Look at the material. Look at my shoes. These are $450. Well, they probably not $450 no more because these are last year's collection. So they probably not $450 no more. But I'm pretty sure you can go find them for like $300 now. I don't know. But nonetheless, you mean to tell me a man sitting here spending $1,000 per store, not in the one weekend, per store. A man spending $1,000 per store, to prove his love to me. You mean to tell me that's not love? A man putting me in his will to inherit all of his businesses, his home. You mean to tell me that's not love? But you want me to sit here and build with a man, a brokey, who just clocked off at Walmart, who just clocked off from Express Oil Change, from changing oil all day, splitting bills with him? That's love. That doesn't make sense to me. And if you guys think that you're going to find true love thinking that marriage is love and not a business, then you need to look in the mirror and say that it is actually you who will never find true love. Because I have found true love multiple times. I told y'all in my last provider, I don't have only just one provider. I have multiple providers, multiple people actively engaging to be in my presence. Why is that? Because I understand that I'm the prize. I understand that I'm not finna go outside the house with a bonnet on, a do-rag on, some Crocs shoes. Jesus, the Crocs are the worst thing that has ever became popular because y'all literally look a mess. And that's why these men are not coming back to you, taking you seriously, because you're willingly lowering your value. And then you turn around and give all the value to a man who goes outside with a do-rag on. He sells drugs. He works at McDonald's. He works at Walmart. These are the men that tell you that they're alpha men, right? But they also tell you that the most priceless woman is an independent woman. Those two, alpha male and 50-50 men, do not go hand in hand. Those are two different adjectives. Those are two different tax brackets. Alpha male, anytime you hear alpha male, you need to automatically know that if a man says he's an alpha male, that means he's a provider male. A man that tells you that he wants to do 50-50, more than likely is because he's broke and he cannot maintain his lifestyle without somebody splitting the bills with him. And here's the beautiful part about all of the shit that I'm talking, right? Broke men who are under 45, because most men don't start making good money until they're in their 40s, right? Men under 40, like people my age, 20 and stuff like that, they're broke just through natural life. They're not going to stay broke, but for now you're broke and I'm not going to deal with you. And it's crazy because men will sit here and call somebody who only is provided for a broke bitch. You ain't got no emotion, all of this. And then they'll call provider men simps. But like I said earlier, anybody who calls a man a simp is just too broke to simp. He don't have no money to simp. Because if he had $1 million in a bank account, you think he'll be splitting bills with his girl? You think he'll be making his girlfriend go Work 50 hours a week just to come back home and change diapers? No. Anytime you hear a man call somebody a simp, it's because he's just too broke and he's jealous. Anytime you hear a man call a woman broke, it's because he's broke and he needs a woman to split bills with him. Because to a provider man, men who have their shit together, your money is no good to them. That's why I can sit here and make thousands of dollars on the internet off of my own businesses, off of my own entrepreneurship, put all of that in the bank account. Put all of that into escrow, put all of that into CD accounts, put all of that into whatever. Okay? All of those things are mine. And his money is mine too. Because what is me giving him money for $100,000 car gonna do? It's not gonna do nothing but emasculate him. And at that point, I'm not gonna deal with him. And if I deal with any man that's older and still wants me to 50-50, I might as well deal with someone my own age. So, nonetheless, I have some other points, but I really forgot it just that quick. So I'm going to see if I have any questions. I got to get me one. Let me tell you guys this. I just thought about this. The only respectable job, and that's only because I just see this comment, the only respectable job that you could deal with out of a man, if he's not going to be a full provider, is if he's an educator. That's probably the only selfless job that I'm not going to deal with him. Because at the end of the day, an income of $40,000 is not enough. That's not even enough money to buy a car. $40,000. Well, maybe if you want a Kia, because apparently people love Kias right now. Just tapping in, but I don't see anything wrong with it if it's an understanding. It's all about knowing somebody, love language, and we all have a standard. Everybody just may be different. Well, that's correct. And my love language is monetary and materials. My love language is the fact that I get to wake up naturally, not through an alarm clock. My love language is the fact that I don't have to clock in nowhere. I don't have to go nowhere. That's my love language. I get paid to literally just look good, have a great personality, be very mannerable, be ready to travel, and be compensated for that. That's my love language, and I love it and I appreciate it, you know. And if I deal with a man, which this has happened to me before, but if I deal with a man who suddenly can't provide for me anymore, for whatever reason, I will leave him. And guess what? If I was dealing with a brokey, more than likely that relationship was never going to work anyway, because struggle love does not equal love. You don't have time to be feminine and to balance out a relationship when all you're thinking about is struggling, paycheck to paycheck. So if a man just suddenly stopped providing for me, I would just leave him and get another man. And if it's that serious, I would sit here and get multiple provider men at the same time, as many as I can at one time. So yeah. Anytime a man asks you your body count, it's surely because he's broke and he's trying to lower your value as a woman, as a gay male, whoever you are, that wants to be provided for. You never give a man an answer about what your body count is, because if he asks you what your body count is, you ask him what his bank account is. What does his bank account look like? What are the digits in his banking, his savings, his 401k? If he's an alpha man, you need to ask him a series of questions, right, to really make him stand on business. What does his bank account look like? What does his savings account look like? What does his escrow account look like? What does his 401k look like? What does his portfolio and his stock exchange look like? If all a man can bring to you is he got $60 left over out of his paycheck, he got a nice car that he can barely afford to pay, he can take you on a dinner date to Applebee's, Checkers, Cheesecake Factory. If that's the best a man can do for you, then that's just gonna be your life. It can't be for me. And I don't get why people call people like me who want to be provided for gold diggers and prostitutes and things like that, because you literally have to, in my mind, have to spend a certain amount of money before I can even get physically turned on to even lay down with you. Like, a lot of you will just have sex for free, and I thank God for it. I truly do, because when my man decides to cheat on me for a pick me, there's somebody out here who will have sex with him for free. I don't have to do it. I get to spend all of the money. I get to get all of the gifts. I get to have the luxury of not working. Meanwhile, you work hard, you split bills and do all of that. Okay, my man is laying up with you. You're doing me a favor. I appreciate you. And I don't get why people call it gold digging and prostituting, because like I said, you have to spend a certain amount of money for me to lay up with you. If you don't spend, me personally, if you don't spend at least $10,000, because that's the standard that has already been affirmed to me by previous provider men. If you do not spend at least $10,000 to prove that you love me, then I'm not finna lay up with you. I'm not finna think about marriage. I'm not finna think about if we may go to long call. I'm not finna think about if I should get to know your mama, your daddy, your sisters, your nieces, or your nephews. I'm not finna think about none of that. Because until we hit the 10K mark, it's not serious for me. And a lot of you, like I said, will sit here and think like, oh, you sound foolish, you sound crazy. It's only because you guys don't believe that these kind of men are out here. Like I said, I literally was just on the phone with a amazing provider man. He ain't trying to provide for me, so that don't really matter. But I know to somebody out here, he's going to be an amazing provider, but he's not going to get that until somebody decides to level up and become that kind of person that he's looking for. And not just him, all of these men. There's plenty of men out here trying to provide. Please, and you'll know that you're doing the right thing if the type of men that approach you start to change. Like, if the men that you're used to approaching you are dusty, broke, smoke Molly, smoke all their money up, drink all their money up. If those are the kind of men that approach you, right, then it's because you're emitting something into the ether that's making them feel like, you deal with broke men. Whether that is the fact that you go outside in bonnets and do-rags on, you go outside in Crocs on, you go on the internet talking about sex, you don't demand any kind of money, or let's keep it simple, you guys don't even demand a first date. Like, truly, what happened to a first date? What happened to, hey, I don't know your name, but excuse me, miss, I saw you from across the room. Whatever happened to all of that? And then let me take you on a date. Let me bring you some flowers. Here is a gold necklace. Here is a watch. Here is something to show you that I'm really feeling you and that you should consider being with me and, letting me be your provider. Letting me be able to walk around in public with you, letting me be able to have the bragging rights to say that I date you, because now I don't care what nobody says about me. Now everybody knows I'm not fooling with no broke dusty man. And I tell a lot of you guys, not personally, but I say it, out the side of my neck, that nobody is jealous of your relationship. Nobody is jealous that you split bills. Nobody is jealous that your man kick you out your house every single day to work a 9 to 5 to split bills, and y'all still be living paycheck to paycheck. And then y'all want to talk about people like me are not going to find true love. But how are y'all going to find true love when y'all don't even have time to love? Y'all literally, when you're struggle loving, when do you have time to love? When do you have time to sit here and talk about your day and how fun it was when all you have experienced is just stress and bill collectors blowing up your phone? So nonetheless, I don't understand how people think that it is a problem for me to say I only deal with provider men when I'm doing nothing but raising the standard, because a lot of you guys are falling for the okie doke. A lot of you guys are just getting a DM, getting approached in the club and being told you sexy, and that's all it takes for a man to get in your pants. Oh, you sexy. Okay, you wanna fuck? You got a shot I could take? You want me to take a shot with you? You wanna fuck? Oh, you let me hit your black and mild? You must love me. Meanwhile, for me, you got to spend at least $10,000, or I'm not considering it. You gotta show me that you really care about my well-being for me to physically get turned on to lay down and have sex with you. So, nobody is jealous of the fact, or nobody on my side of life, okay? Because I'm not the only person who has a provider man or is looking to marry a provider man. Let's put it like that. I'm not the only person out here. So the same way a lot of y'all sit here and look at us and judge us will be the same way in about 5 to 10 months, years, weeks, whatever. Y'all will double back around and say, I'm tired of dealing with these broke, dusty men. I split bills with him and he ain't do nothing but cheat on me. I thought I showed him I loved him. I tried to change him and it was a waste of time. Why are you trying to chase a man where you could just get a man who's already standing on his business? Why would a man that is a provider try to level you up as a dusty pick me when he can just pick someone like me or the next person that's listening to this that's trying to level up? He can just pick someone like us who already understands the business of dating and marriage. You can't take somebody who is a dusty pick me and try to show them the better side of life. Let me re-say this. A provider man cannot take someone that is a pick me and try to change your life, because it is a mindset thing. Okay. In this game that I'm in this world that I'm in, a provider man and being provided for, it's not about who looks the best. I mean, of course, men are visual creatures. They love to look at what looks good. But a man 100% will pick someone who is leveled up in his mentality or her mentality than someone who just solely looks good. Because there are things about people like us that you can do that you can't do around someone who is a pick me, such as spend thousands of dollars on them. Because when you spend thousands of dollars on a pick me, what are they going to do? Run that money back to get validation from some street molly head, from some man who works at Applebee's as a line cook, seeking his validation. That's why this is totally a detour, but that's why your compliments do not mean nothing to people who are leveled up, whether you're a provider or being provided for and you're hot like me. People who are pick me and dusty, your compliments do not mean nothing to us. They're nice, it's cute, but it doesn't mean nothing, because what's a compliment from somebody who is not confident in themselves? What's a compliment from somebody who is broke and dusty? That's not a compliment. Like, if somebody broke, if a Molly crackhead told you off the street that you was beautiful, you're not really gonna think, I mean, yeah, okay, thank you, sir, that's nice. But it doesn't really mean nothing. Now, if someone who is a provider man or leveled up like me gives you a compliment, it means something, because you understand that we are only dealing with certain levels of shit, and it's levels to this business of marriage and dating. So you can't sit here and think like, oh, you just because you want a provider man that you can just bounce into this life and think that you're gonna get one, because it's a mentality. Okay, it's like I just said, a provider man would not go for a pick me, because a pick me does not understand how to maneuver the lifestyle. Some people will say it's crazy that There are men desperate enough to want to be used by somebody. It's interesting that you look at it like that, because these men that I deal with look at it as that how about this? People mention love language in the chat. How about this? Some people just have a love language of being generous men, and other people have love language of being spent on. My love language is being spent on by these generous men. It's so simple. You don't have to break your back to get the money. You don't have to break your neck to ask for the money. These men will sit here and ask for it from you. When I had my first provider man, I was working a regular ass job. Okay. I was doing photography, and then I quit doing photography because I stopped feeling passionate about it, which is why I don't do photography now, because I'm not passionate about it. Boom. I got into a regular job. I did not like it. I hated it. I met my provider man. My provider man said, "How much do you make?" I said, "I make this much every week." He said, "Well, I'm going to give you that times 5." He really said times 3, but as time progressed, it really became like times a million, honestly. And once you have a provider man, you'll never go back to being with a broke man, and I promise you that. Like, you could not pay me enough money to slide in some broke man's DMs to give some broke man the time of day, because I've already experienced true love from a provider man. That's why I be confused by y'all when y'all say I'm gonna be lonely and I'm gonna die alone. And that's funny, because most men, a lot of men, I ain't gonna say most men, but a lot of men who do all of this 50-50 and all of this running around to tear a woman down out of her true value, they end up dying alone. A lot of men die alone. A lot of men die alone more than women, because like I said earlier, women normally have their children, their offspring, their grandchildren, their nieces and nephews surrounding them at their final moments in life. Men have literally been so roguish, so not a man, expecting women, disrespecting women by telling them to go be 50-50, and then want to call a woman broke because she don't want to pay 50-50 with you. I want to tell you this. If a man calls a woman broke, then what does that make a man calling a woman broke? Does that not make him broker? Because to a provider man, my money don't mean nothing. Literally, everywhere I go with my provider man, I don't carry not one card. I remember, wow, I want to say this was the same day I got my first luxury piece. And it was real. Like, it wasn't like out of no trunk. It wasn't from, Shalissa or Boquisha, selling it out of their apartment that they got shipped from China and want to charge you $40 for some shit that's not even worth $5. Anywho, I remember I got my first designer piece, right? I was in Lenox Mall, and I really don't even remember the story I was about to tell, but it was an amazing story. But nonetheless, I got my first designer piece. It just came back to me. I got my first designer piece, and I remember standing there admiring it. I was just walking by, okay? Because the mall was about to close. Like, I think malls in Georgia close at like 7 or 8 o'clock. I don't think malls in Georgia stay open that long. Nonetheless, the mall was closing, right? And so I had walked past Coach, and I saw this bag. It was the first designer bag that I ever got in my life. And I saw this bag, the first of many luxury gifts. Let's make that clear. I saw the bag from just walking past it. So I stopped, went inside the store, looked at it, and the first thing out of my man's mouth was, "You want it?" And I said, "What?" Here's the thing. I'm finna put y'all on to something. I asked the woman like a big dumbass, a big noob to this whole situation. I said, "Well, how much does it cost? Like, how much is it? Because I'm like, I ain't never had no Coach. I ain't never had nothing, like this. I've had H&M, ASOS, American Express, Gap, Nautica, Polo, but I ain't never had no Coach, no Chanel. What else did I get? 18 karat jewelry, $100,000 cars, and all of that. I ain't never had nothing like that. So I was really impressed. And what it was, I asked the woman, I was like, how much is it? And the man immediately, before the woman could even answer it, the man immediately said, if you want the bag, we're gonna get the bag. And literally she went in the back, backed up the bag and brought it out. He went in the back somewhere and paid for it, came back out, gave me a receipt and a card and the bag. And I was like, wow. And then come to find out later at the hotel room, I was in the bathroom and I opened up the bag and I looked at the receipt. Tell me why the receipt said it was $800. Mind you, right before this shopping, but right before this random, like me just seeing the bag in the display, this man had literally just spent over $1,300 for a whole new shoe wardrobe. I'm talking, I swear on Jesus. Well, I ain't got to swear because the proof is in the pudding. If you guys need proof about how I got down, how I get down with these provider men, go through my Instagram or go through my Facebook if you got the patience. Literally everything is on display. There's no cap in my rap. And little did I know, I've been leveled up way before I even recognized it, which is why I'm trying to give y'all this advice, because it's so many men out here wanting to provide and y'all sitting here sleep on them, sitting here dealing with these broke dusty men thinking that the only way to get love is if you be Barbara the Builder with Bob the Builder to build some empire. And then after the empire is done built, after he done got all the money, now he's finna go cheat on you with somebody who look younger, better, and with higher standards than you did, because she's not going for the 50-50. She only deals with provider men. And because of that, he wants to go run up behind her and show her, oh no, my dick is bigger than any man that you ever dealt with, because I really got the money to show out. Now you sitting at home at this empire you done built, looking cross-eyed in the face because ain't nobody teach you how to date, and or ain't nobody tell you that marriage is a business. And I'm glad I learned this very early on. I'm glad I didn't wait until it was too late for me, because I'm only 30. And well, I don't know, because 30 in gay years is like 45. I mean, yeah, 30 in regular years is like 45 in gay years. So, but I am afforded the opportunity to look at least a little bit better than most people, simply because I don't have to work hard. I don't have to clock in to a 9 to 5. Thank God. And even when I'm not dealing with a provider man, how about this? I'd rather stay single and live off of that savings I've saved up dealing with a provider man until I get my next provider man, than sit here and get in my feelings and deal with some broke man. Let me tell you guys this. I dealt with broke men. I'll never go back down that road again, because you get nothing out of it. You get nothing out of it but headache and heartbreak. And to be looking cross-eyed in your phone like Mary J. Blige talking about, gotta face reality. There could never be any more us. No, I'm not doing it. So, let's see. I don't see any more questions. So I just wanted to give my tidbit. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to make it to the stores. I'm actually not gonna have time to make it to the stores, so I no point of rushing. But nonetheless, I'll tell you guys this: you can have whatever you want in this world, but you're not gonna get it until you believe you deserve it, right? You're not gonna get what you truly want in this life until you feel like you deserve it. You're only going to keep boomeranging the same results that you feel that you deserve. So if you feel like you need to build with a man and struggle love, and if you feel like dealing with a man cheating is just the result of you trying to find out where do you stand in his life, like, oh, out of everybody he done cheated on me with, he still keep coming back home to me. So yeah, he coming back home to you because he ain't finna leave his sugar mama. That's exactly why he's gonna keep coming back home to you. Who gonna cut? Like, that's like a dog running away from home and not coming back home to get that dinner. You know, of course the dog gonna come back home because he need to eat. He need to take a shower. He need to have a hot meal. He need to, get some new Jordans that's about to come out. That tax money dropped, so he need to get some of that tax money. Please. It rained and I got caught up in the rain and my hair kind of poofed out. But I'm okay with it because it could look worse. Nonetheless, yeah. All I can really say is the fact. All I can really truly tell you guys is, once you feel like you deserve to be in a better position in life, then you will be presented by God, the universe, the ether, whoever, to be put in a better position in life. Until you feel that way, you'll never get there. And until you make that man, go work hard, get out that bathtub from sending that bath bomb, and throw away that PS5. Go give it to your nephew or somebody. He don't need to be sitting at home looking cute. What does a man need to look? Here's my thing. If a man wants to call a woman broke, then you need to ask a man, what does he want to look cute for? If a man wants a hard working, independent woman, then he needs to go get another hard man. Okay, a big burly hard man. Because women were born to be soft, supple, feminine, the voice of sound reasoning and mind. Because I told y'all before, men are not smart enough to think. Men are only good enough to go make that money and bring the check back home. That's it. Women are great for nurturing children, transmuting problems into positives. Women are good at, upkeeping a home, keep making sure the decor is relevant. When it's Christmas time, make sure we have, Christmas decorations around to put everyone in the spirit. When it's Thanksgiving time, making sure there are Thanksgiving decorations to put everyone into the spirit. If you want a woman to cook, she shouldn't think about cooking if you got her clocking in somewhere. So please, men aren't smart enough to really handle no business like that. They're only smart enough to go work and come back home and bring you all the money. That's why most men who are married live longer, because men who are married to women who aren't going to do the enabling to let a man be less than, they actually go out and work harder. They are motivated to keep raising that income, to bring more money into the household, because then as children get involved, now you have to buy car seats. Now there are more mouths to feed. Now you have to upgrade the car. I can't be driving this sporty sports car. Now I need something bigger. I need something like a Range Rover or a Mercedes GLE or a Mercedes or a Lexus LX. The GX is very nice as well. I'll take a GX or a Lexus. But nonetheless, you'll never get that running up behind broke men. So anytime a man, I'm gonna wrap it up. Anytime a man want to sit here and ask you about your body count, understand that he's broke, and it's just a manipulation tactic to just try to get you to lower your value as a woman. Because a real man that's interested in you isn't going to offend you like that to ask you what your body count is. Obviously, looking at the material, a man will know you don't deal with the okie doke. You don't fool with broke dusty. So that means you less likely to have STDs. You don't deal with these young broke boys, even though they look fine. It's no reason for it. They can't do nothing for me. And if you're only dealing with men because they are sexually attractive, then what are you going to do in 20 to 30 years when he looks fat and old, like the men that you refuse to date now, who look fat and old? Well, they don't all look fat and old, but nonetheless, they don't look desirable to you. What do you think the men that you're doing all of this for 50-50 and all of that, what do you think they're going to end up looking like in 30 to 40 years? These same men that y'all sitting over here getting STDs and getting pregnant by, trying to fight to put them on child support, but the judge can't put the man on child support because he ain't even got no job to give you no child to support. I mean, to give you some support for the child. Y'all chasing these men because they fine and sexy. What do you think they're going to look like in 10 to 20 years? They're going to still be broke, and then they're going to be ugly, like the men that you're saying you can't sleep with because, oh, they just so old and ugly. Meanwhile, 5 to 10 years from now, I'm going to still be with my same old and ugly man. And guess what? By the time that happens, I already have rental properties. I already have 401ks established, escrows established, portfolios established for my stock investments, things of that nature. Meanwhile, in 10 years, all y'all gonna have is a broke, dusty man. And then a broke, dusty child. Because what does two broke, dusty parents coming together to make a child make? A broke, dusty child. So I don't get how two brokies make a positive. That really doesn't make sense for me. And if you're gonna be with a man who you know you're not gonna marry him and you just wanna have fun and just have sex, at least let him have a job. At least let him have money. Let him have aspirations and desires to want to be something in life. Because you getting pregnant by the street Molly head. What do you think is going to be the outcome of that? That he's going to get a job at McDonald's and step up to the plate to provide for you and your child? Delulu. Delulu. And that's why I say the same way y'all are sitting here and will come and talk to people like me and say, oh, prostitutes, sugar babies, escorts, all of that. We can literally transmute all that back into your face and say broke, ain't got nothing in your name. Two people, two whole grown adults came together to literally create a dusty child. Lord bless the baby. Two whole grown adults came together to create nothing. Nothing. Nonetheless, so Cali, two broke dusty parents make a dusty. I mean, it's for real. Two broke dusty parents come together and they make a dusty child. But meanwhile, you will talk about people who literally only deal with provider men. Or if you're a man and you say that you're an alpha man, because again, alpha man and 50-50 man do not go in the same boat. They do not go in the same sentence. So you want to get pregnant by the street crackhead and then think that something is going to change. You look dumb. That's why when you call people gold diggers and stuff, it's like, look at your life. Nobody is jealous of your life. Nobody is jealous that you had to be a single mama and raise your child by yourself. Nobody, and I'm not going to give you a round of applause for doing that, because somebody in your family should have told you if you was going to at least be fucking around for free. At least let it be with a man who has a job. Let it be with a man who literally has a career plan for himself. So even if it doesn't work out for y'all, he will still be a man in that child's life. And then y'all go around and say men ain't shit. I keep telling y'all this. It's not the fact that men are not shit. It's the fact that the men that you pick are not shit. Those are the men that's not shit. In the same way, there are plenty of women who ain't shit. They're pick-me's. They go outside with bonnets on their heads and Crocs on their shoes. And there are guys who go outside with do-rags on their head and Crocs on their shoes, looking dusty. You know, everyone cannot live a leveled up lifestyle. And the main reason for that is because I need people to use as examples for when I tell people to look around and say, do you want to be like that kind of person? No. And that's your real life example of, if you keep going down that path, guess what? You're going to end up like that, looking dumb and crazy. So, and then a lot of you guys are in y'all 30s looking 40, and because y'all have signed up for unnecessary stress, unnecessary struggle. That's why you don't get a round of applause for being, only time you get a round of applause for being a single mom or a single dad is if you're a widow. That's really it. But if you sat up here and laid down with some dust and created a dusty baby, and then you want a round of applause for creating that dusty baby. Let's have some accountability, please. But nonetheless, I've been on here for a minute now. I'm probably not gonna make Sam's Club because, like I said, the worst place to drive in the rain is goddamn Alabama. I would rather drive in Atlanta, Georgia, than drive in Alabama in the rain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this video up for you guys to watch. If you haven't seen my first video about only dealing with provider men, or if it's not up on my channel, pinned to my page, by the time you get to this live stream, then it'll already be on my YouTube channel at Ron Vulgato. You guys can go find it there. And the biggest tip I want to leave for you guys is remember that you are the prize. If a man asks you for your body count, it's truly because he broke and he ain't got nothing better else to ask you about. Because out of all the things a man could ask you, why would he ask you for your body count? A man that means something will not waste your time or offend you to ask you for your body count. There are so many things to ask that doesn't include a body count. So please, nonetheless, with that being said, I will see you guys later in the next live stream. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and hopefully you learned something. With that being said, peace. I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all. I don't really know how much I'll do these Facebook lives because my main platform is YouTube, but there's just a lot of delusion on Facebook. So I actually think that a lot of people will benefit from my advice, and a lot of people do benefit from my advice. They just don't give me that credit in public. So I'm cool with that, because at the end of the day, I have a provider man, so I don't have to do a goddamn thing if I don't want to. And if you want to be like me, just take my advice, level up, and understand that you're the prize. Please stop dealing with these broke, dusty men, and you'll start waking up with dust all over your body. With that being said, I love you guys. Peace.